And then ever since then, I just started like watching so many like Netflix originals that just kept coming out. And I was like, okay, I gotta watch, like I have so many things on my watch list now. And then I've binge watched so many things. I've been recently getting into anime a lot. Like a lot.
So now we'll talk about anime. We'll wait to the end of the show. We'll talk about anime at the end of the show. Yeah. But speaking of, I don't know, that's a terrible way to lead into an episode. What's up, fandom? My name is Josh. And today we are joined once again by Paul-Mikel Williams.
Hi, what's up, everybody?
And today we're going to be talking about the final season 5 of Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous.
Yes, I'm so excited.
He's a lot more excited for Camp Cretaceous than Stranger Things. So
we'll see what happens.
I was like, I'll watch it, in 2027, after all the Stranger Things is done. That's Paul's. You're just waiting. That's the thing. Like you don't want to watch it and then have to wait 2 years. You just want it all to be done.
Yeah, I find it extremely hilarious that, most of these shows are like coming out with multiple parts, despite like, I think the one that I'm really I find funny is Attack on Titan is on their 5th season. And they have like 4, they're announcing part like 5 of the last season. And the last couple parts, like 10, 20 episodes each. So
yeah, Attack on Titan's just like it blows my mind when they were like this is the final season of Attack on Titan, and then it's like, okay, cool, I've read the manga, let's see where they end this. And I'm like, we're not close here, guys. We have one episode left. We're not getting there. And they're like, oh yeah, we're having 17 more parts, and you're like, oh okay, sure, that'll do it. And even then, it's not going to end. They're actually going to end it in a movie, and you're like, you know what? That checks out. I mean,
exactly.
Why not?
Exactly.
All right, let's talk about Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. So where we leave all of our campers at the end of last season, Kenji has met his dad again, played by the wonderful Andrew Kisano, fantastic actor, who promises to get all the kids off the island. But he keeps making excuses for everything. Be like, yeah, no, we'll get you guys off the island. We're gonna do it sneaky.
Sounds familiar, huh?
It's like, it's very much like when I was watching it, I was like, yes, this is how this goes. Like, this makes sense. We've seen this before.
I feel like it's been like a recurring pattern of like, first it's the dinosaurs, then it's humans that prevent them, then it's the dinosaurs again, then it's humans again.
Then it's robots, and now it's back to humans controlling dinosaurs this time.
Exactly.
It all kind of goes back together.
Yeah, it all culminates into this one amazing, story that works. That's my most favorite part about it, is that it works.
So with everything that kind of starts with Kenji. So Kenji, this is kind of like a Kenji season, like, because I mean, this is like the storyline and it kind of wraps everything up. So we're going to talk a lot about Kenji, just because I mean, that is the majority of the storyline that we get this season. So with the cones, we do have Kenji kind of finally getting that little bit of like, fatherly love or like acceptance, and so it kind of turns him from the CampFam. Can you give us a little bit of like insight of like what Darius is thinking during this time, like as everything's starting to go down?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, confliction has never been more real. And I mean, Darius has experienced a lot of confliction in this show for sure. I mean, we definitely saw it in season 4 when people the CampFams finally started talking about the trauma that they went through. Mm-hmm. And then Darius finally saying like dinosaurs need to take a back seat for a moment. And then in this season it makes it just like 10 times more crazy, because now he's having a confliction within keeping his his logical family. Well, yeah, because it's not biological. He has conflict in keeping his logical family together. And I think that he's also trying to balance, what happened in season 4 with Brooklyn and Kenji and their relationship, and now this is also kind of tugging on them. So he's trying to still embody his leader role while also trying to like hold his feelings down so that he can focus on their main objective.
Exactly. And I mean, like, I think we can all pretty much safely say like Darius is the main character of this show. I mean, it pretty much is. I mean, whenever we start with a character and then end with a character, like start shot with character, end shot with character, that's the main character of the show. But I mean, with
I'm not
Darius,
at liberty to say.
I'll say it for you, don't worry. But no, I mean, like, because like Darius has basically been this like the CampFam's like the rock the entire show, and kind of seeing him kind of not really knowing, you know, who to trust anymore. Because I mean, Kenji has betrayed this trust, and has kind of like left, you know, Darius and the family. And that's got to be hard. I mean, and we do kind of see how it does affect Darius throughout this season. Because I mean, he kind of like, from what I was watching, like, he kind of like puts the majority of his focus into the tablet and communicating with the dinosaurs this season.
I definitely feel like Darius, as somewhat of a coping mechanism, puts a lot of his focus and trust into dinosaurs when something happens. And we definitely, you know, we got a lot of glimpses of that in the first few seasons with his dad, and just showing that his connection with dinosaurs only grew larger after his dad passed away. And once, you know, he starts going through this thing with Kenji and Brooklyn, and, you know, Kenji trading sides for that familial love, I definitely feels like what you said, he focuses on the dinosaurs sort of to get over that, so he doesn't have to focus on bringing those feelings up. And there is an eventual point in season 5 where he actually talks to Brooklyn about that, because they're the only two people that kind of understand what Kenji is going through. And I feel like Darius has a real personal connection to it because he had that relationship with his dad. So he doesn't really know how to confront Kenji on it, because they're kind of like, it's kind of like parallel universes right now.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. Cause I mean, I had it in my notes here that a lot of like the majority, I mean, Yaz and Sammy and Ben, like they're very quick to turn on. Yeah. Like it was like this. I was like, y'all didn't even think about that. They were just like holding it in. But I mean, like, yeah, Darius and Brooklyn, like they're actually having talks, and like it definitely affects them the most. And yeah, like just like kind of watching the characters and everything. And by the way, fantastic acting from everybody involved. Like this show, very like top notch.
Always got to represent the cast, seriously.
I mean, yeah, it's just like, because you can kind of feel a lot of the emotion that's going on, especially like, yeah, like you were talking about when Darius and Brooklyn have their heart to heart, and then when Kenji and Darius finally have their confrontation and everything, it's really good. Even when and Kenji and Ben, like they, a lot of these, you know, confrontations that do happen, just phenomenal. Like it's really well acted, and like the script was great. So yeah, like I loved those scenes. Like was there a favorite scene kind of like that, in that like kind of like ilk's a weird word, in that kind of vein, that you were really into this season?
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite scenes for sure, definitely not even when I got to see a glimpse of the 5th season, but even when I was like doing audio dialogue replacement and when I was doing pickups, I was like, you know, seeing the scene with Darius and Brooklyn and them finally talking about it was like, wow, this is not something kids would normally talk about.
Right.
And then, you know, when I think one that kind of like really hit me was when they were fighting, when Darius and Kenji were fighting over the tablet. I don't know, even when I have a very vivid remembrance of recording that line, or well, not line, but the scene entirely. And I was just like, wow, like even over like the seasons where you see their relationship kind of on the rocks with like how Kenji felt at like the end of season 3 with what happened to Brooklyn, and even when like Darius was, you know, with the Scorpius and preparing for the boat. I've definitely felt like this was the point where they got the chance to finally actually work on it, because they finally got to that point where like they could actually talk about it, because they, you know, they understood what each other was going through. So I just really like connected to that scene, and I absolutely loved it. Like, seriously.
Yeah, like I completely agree. Like them actually finally getting able to talk. Cause I mean, even at the beginning of season 4, when the whole bolt and the Mosasaurus and everything, and that's going in, like I think if I remember, like Kenji rescues Darius, but then it's just kind of like, all right, we're good again. And I was like, yeah, but you guys didn't talk anything out, you know. It's like maybe you know, chat a little bit. But it was really good to finally see this happen. And I think of the series, like that scene was probably one of my favorites. Because you do see the hurt in Darius, and you see the what is the word? I want to say like the regret in Kenji, like the way that they're acting, you know, the voiceover and the animation and everything. It just fits really, really well.
I love it. Yeah.
So we do finally have our confrontation with the cons and the CampFam, with the wonderful robot, they're controlling dinosaurs thing. I thought that was I was like, man, how many more controllers are they gonna like pull out? Like they have constantly having these controllers from these dinosaurs.
I just remembered something from when we were recording. I was like, I could tell that I was talking to Scott in the booth when we were recording. I was doing ADR, and I was like, I could see where you guys tried to avoid copyright, because I am an avid PlayStation player, and that controller looks very familiar. And then he was like, yeah, we were trying to kind of dodge. But
it's like a PlayStation. It's like, okay, so how can we get away with this PlayStation controller? We'll put an extra couple things on it and make it bigger. And it's like, it looks like the old like Xbox controllers that are like this big, and you're like, there we go. It's like, that's how you get away with it.
It reminded me kind of the Nintendo Entertainment System controllers that have like a bunch of buttons on them, and they like really irregular shaped.
Now that would have been cool if it was like an N64 controller and it's got like that weird thing in the middle, and it's like, I had one of those and I don't remember how I used it. Like if someone put one in my hand, I'd be like, I don't remember how I held this. Like,
I have a friend that plays Smash Brothers, that plays Smash Ultimate with an NES controller. Dude, how do you, like, what?
there was a really funny like meme photo that went around, and it was like how Gen Z plays in 64, and they've got it on their like knee, and they're using like just their finger, and I was like, that's smart. I like that. That's good stuff. So we finally have our big confrontation. We got all of our people, control of the bad people, controlling the dinosaurs, kids getting the upper hand. We finally got we got our rematch between like the Spinosaurus and the T-Rex. It's been years, but we finally got it. T-Rex win, go figure. Also, I mean, T-Rex had like a lot of help. Let's just be real. T-Rex had a lot of help.
That is very true. That's true.
Like, there was a lot. What was like, so kind of like of the action scenes, like what was like some of your favorite action scenes from this season?
Out of season 5, there were so many moments. I think the one that really got to me was when I finally saw Cash get what he deserved.
Yeah.
That was probably my biggest moment. But the action scenes involving the what is that word? The investor. The action scenes involving the investors versus the children was by far my like favorite thing that I have ever seen in this show, for sure. Like just from, well, we're good on, I'm always self-conscious of spoilers, but just from like seeing Mr. Gold, like, you know, getting stomped, or like even when forgot her name in the, I think
there were a lot of people that got this season,
yeah,
like or just like got dinoed. Like
I always
like,
talk to Scott and how he's like evolved the how he's evolved the bar over the seasons of like
when what was her name? When she gets
like Mina,
when she gets like taken out by the compies, I was like, man, we haven't had a compy death since The Lost World.
Yeah, exactly.
Since who was that? Was that a oh my gosh, what was his name? He's not a Skarsgård. Man, that's gonna bother me. The dude who got eaten in The Lost World. But anyway, yeah, like just watching this, like there's a lot of like dinosaur attacking humans, which there was like none really last season. So it was kind of good to kind of see like, oh yeah, that's right. The dinosaurs, they do still eat people. They eat people a lot.
Yeah. My favorite thing for sure was probably like, we need more filler episodes, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, like they're also like very focused and oriented. And I feel like the filler episodes, we finally get to see kids being kids, like even in an environment that's filled with dinosaurs. So I'm just like, man, I'd love to see more moments that like, even with dinosaurs, you're just chilling and, you know, having yacht parties and,
right.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
It was Peter Stormare.
Yeah.
He gets in. So with the end of so kind of we'll talk about the end of the show. So again, this was a spoiler episode, it's in all the show notes and everything. If you've not watched, go watch.
Please.
We've already ruined the majority of the show for you already. Yeah. So with our final in our final episode, Darius does reunite with Brand. So brother comes through. I was like, good job. And our kids all get off the island, and they're now the Nublar 6, which I was like, that sounds like something CNN would do. It's not yeah, that's very like newsy. It's like, yeah, the Nublar 6.
Yeah.
That's, you put that on a Wheaties box and you sell that. So the Nublar 6 finally get home, and we have a time skip. And with our time skip, I guess Darius and Kenji are living together. I that's what I was kind of getting. I don't know, either that or I'm guessing Kenji's still rich, because I mean he's still being able to supply an island. So either he's living with Darius, or in my mind he bought out the house next to Darius and he just lives there.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm just gonna buy this house and I live here now.
I think that what happened was something about his dad getting arrested, and then like they kind of like confiscated all of his money because of like illegal operations. So that's why they were like, oh yeah, you can live with us. But yeah, that was just like a heartwarming scene, seeing everybody like on the Zoom in the end.
That was really good. Yeah, because Ben's on the island with May, still on the island with Bumpy, and I was like, yeah, Ben wouldn't leave. Ben's there forever now. He's not leaving. Yaz and Sammy are on Sammy's farm in Texas, doing the cow thing. I don't know. They got cows. Like, I don't know. It's
chilling with Bessie.
Exactly. Yeah. Darius is doing TED Talks about dinosaurs.
I always make jokes about that. I always make jokes that was a TED Talk, whatever you call it.
It was 100% a TED Talk. The only thing that's different is there wasn't a red TED at the thing. That was the only difference.
TEDx Utah or something like that. I don't know where he lives, but
well, I mean, California. I mean, he lives in, because I mean, where Brooklyn is talking, because she kind of mentions when we do see her, she's like following the trail on the Lockwood estate. and everything. And you're like, oh, okay. And it's like, because she
Right.
says like that's near you.
Right. Yeah.
And
I
then
don't know why I
Kenji
didn't think
goes
of
for
that.
chili. And then
Yeah.
Darius like looks outside and he's like, oh, Brachiosaurus. Cool. That my only complaint for this season was I kind of wish there was one more episode. Because while like we did get a really good kind of like epilogue, I wish we would have had like a little bit more of an epilogue. Just because it's like it does end really well, and it ends and kind of like brings us at the end of Fallen Kingdom, but doesn't really do anything for us for Dominion, which I was kind of hoping we would get like a little bit more for Dominion. So like that's why I was like, man, if we could get like one more episode, or give me a movie, give me one of those movies that like leads into like our kids, like our kids now, and then into going into Dominion.
Yeah, when I was recording the last original, and that was like okay, we have one more little non-verbal sound that we want you to do. And I read the last like sentence or two that they wrote, and I was like, man, I was like, come on, you guys can't end it here. But yeah, I mean, I really wanted that, Steven Universe future ending where they
right?
give you
it would have been good.
Yeah, they give you a whole freaking epilogue series.
Maybe that's next. Maybe we have.
Hey, who knows?
Dominion, you never know.
Hey, ask Netflix.
Yes. Where so kind of this is all totally off canon and everything like that, because the way the show ends, Darius looks out the window and it's like and he gets that look in his eye and it's like he's gonna go eat some chili too. But where do you think Darius and the rest of the camp fam kind of go from here? In your head canon, where do you think they go? Do you think Darius kind of goes and do you think they infiltrate, Biocid and everything? And
I mean, we saw, one of my I don't even know if this was revealed in the script or not, because this was like we skipped all over, and I didn't think I read the script where we see Lewis Dodgson on the island, which we haven't seen since Jurassic Park. But and then it's really funny because I saw Dominion not too long ago, and I was like, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
But man, I think something that I'm really wishing for my headcanon is maybe we get some dinosaur real estate from Darius, from all the monies that he's making on these TEDx talks. I'm thinking maybe Yaz. I don't know what Yaz is gonna do. Maybe
she's gonna start racing dinosaurs. That's how her thing is gonna go. She's gonna be like,
maybe she'll invent a new school of thought for dinosaurs. I'm imagining that she's gonna be chilling with Sammy on the farm, and they might be raising dinosaurs, taking care of dinosaurs.
See, that I could see them kind of going in and be like, okay, so we got all these cows.
Yeah,
we can also raise triceratops.
Exactly. Like, no, we saw a little bit of that in Jurassic World with the little baby triceratops in the playground. So maybe they might start a little mini theme park of their own with only herbivores, so they don't make a mistake that happened for the last 30 years.
Exactly. It's like the biggest problem was with Jurassic Park is when they made the things that eat meat. That was the biggest problem with Jurassic Park. You don't do that, you're fine, totally fine.
When they decided to make stuff with teeth for the anarchists.
Exactly. It's like the Brachiosaurus is not going to, attack everybody and eat people. Like, it's going to be fine.
They should have gone the route of how theme parks or amusement parks, they have the cool area and then they have the little water park area. So I'm thinking, maybe make it separate, for the children. And you got the little children's park of their own where they're just chilling with herbivores and baby Brachiosaurus. We see Firecracker and Angel and Rebel. Why don't you just make that?
Exactly. It's like you've got Magic Mountain over here for your thrill rides, but then you got Disney World down here. You know, I mean,
Exactly.
I mean, Disneyland. You keep them separate.
Exactly.
They're on the you know, you can get there, but you got to keep them separate.
Yeah. Exactly. Make some crossovers. You'll have fun.
What were some of your favorite moments throughout the series total?
Man. I think a lot of the cast still agrees that season 3 was by far our favorite season, like over the entire course, because you know it takes a really interesting turn for sure. I say this every single press junket that we do. Scorpius Rex is still my favorite dinosaur to this date, and it's not even real. You know,
it's real in our hearts.
Is now
it's real in our
second.
hearts.
Yeah, it's close to, because we were we were involved in creating that dinosaur and bringing that dinosaur to life. You know, we always say, come for the dinosaurs, stay for the kids. And now, you know, we got these crazy new dinosaurs that, you know, we didn't know how the fans would react to, but we got a really good response. And one of my favorite fight scenes was the Scorpius versus Scorpius, where it was just like a whole, you know, like 3 minutes of them just going at it. And that was dope. I wanted to see more of that so much. And you know, when they're in the original Jurassic Park, how do you say that? The original visitor center, quote unquote.
The original visitor center.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite fight scenes by far. In the moment where Darius was like, you know, with Blue, and he was like being vulnerable, I was like, man. That's like a dream come true. But yeah, season 3 by far. And of course the season with Darius and his dad, which I love to get a chance to, you know, relate to some people that have actually, you know, lived that. And you know, I got a lot of fan letters about that, saying like, you know, I relate to that, and I'm so happy that you're portraying this, because, you know, this happened to me, maybe not in the exact context, but it's really relatable and similar. So I'm just, you know, happy to convey that message and be a part of it. But yeah.
Nice. Yeah, like I agree with you. Like season 3, I think is still just really good. Like it
phenomenal.
That, like whenever I think, I always go back to that, like the scene where Yaz is running from the Scorpius. Like it's such a good scene. Yeah, one of our co-hosts did the storyboard for that scene, and I was like, man, that was so good. Like I was just like gushing to her once we saw it. I was like, oh my gosh, that was such a good scene.
I'm not giving up either. Yeah.
It's so good. But yeah, definitely check out Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. All 5 seasons available on Netflix now. Thanks to our friends over at DreamWorks for hooking us up and letting us check those out early. So Paul thinks we're wrapping up, but we're not, because now we're going to talk about anime. So Paul, you said you were getting into anime. So what are you getting into? What are you watching?
Oh man, I've finished. It's funny because, you know, as an anime watcher, I get really mad when amazing shows keep it short, and then other amazing shows kind of drag it out. You know, I want that perfect medium. I haven't gotten around to finishing. I'm only halfway through Attack on Titan, and I'm still obsessed with the show. Like, they made it so good. If we want to go way back in time, I think the first anime that I watched was Akame ga Kill, and I immediately fell in love with that. That was probably one of my greatest firsts. I haven't dedicated to anything OG. Well, JoJo's cool.
JoJo's very cool. If you liked the Akame ga Kill, try the manga too. Got a different ending.
I'm trying to get back into manga, because the first thing that I read was
it's hard.
manga.
Yeah, it's hard because especially now, trying to find like issues of stuff. Good Lord, like you're gonna be on Amazon or eBay spending like a good chunk of change on that, man.
Yeah, man, I want to get, because I've been into I've just died out on so much stuff, like Demon Slayer being one example. I was hooked on that show. Saw the movie, in theaters, fell in love with it. I couldn't the animation. That's one thing that I just really like about anime is when they got good animation, whether it's new or old. And I have so many friends that agree with me that Demon Slayer just like it looks like a movie constantly. And when I saw Mugen Train in theaters, I was like, this is not a movie. This is an experience. Like kind of like how Yaz is like, this isn't water. This is an experience. But yeah, I'm kind of going like all over the place. I'm in season 5 of JoJo right now.
Which
soundtrack,
one is
so
that?
good.
Is that the one where they
Golden
horse
Wind.
race?
It's Golden Wind where it's I don't want to spoil it for the people, but it's Giorno. And
Okay.
It's the one about gangs and stuff like that in Italy.
Gotcha. I think it's one of those like I didn't really get into JoJo, but I have a friend who just tells me all about JoJo, and that's how I get my JoJo.
Yeah.
Like so I'm like, okay, cool. When does this one happen? It's like, oh yeah, this is the one where it's basically David Bowie, and I'm like, oh okay, cool. That's a fun one.
It's very long. It's very long.
You're just like, man. And like same thing with like I've got a buddy, like he's trying to get me into Berserk. He's been trying to get me into like I got him into anime, and he's been trying to get me into Berserk, and I'm like, dude, I do not have the time to go and watch Berserk.
I've been thinking about it.
Especially because I'm old school. Like back when in the young days of YouTube, when there were very few like anime, YouTubers and things like that. But that was always like the most like always considered like one of like the worst endings in anime was that the ending of Berserk, and you just watch it and you're like, oh yeah, I can see why. Like,
yeah.
And so like that's why I'm like, man, I don't want to. Sorry, spoilers for a show that came out 20 years ago. But it's like I don't want to watch like all those people like die at the end. Like I don't want to get invested in these characters for like 20 episodes and then just to watch all of them go. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. That's gonna hurt my soul. Like I don't want to do that.
No, that's painful because all of the oh my gosh, like
it's like a Kame ga Kill. I'm like, bro, like I don't think
older anime have like a history of doing that, and it makes me so mad. Like I watched one of my favorite. This is by far my favorite like shorts like one season anime was Gurren Lagann. Was oh my gosh, dude! Like it was so good, and they portrayed so many different aspects of it like seamlessly. And what really got me was their whole thing was over the top stuff. And I was like, you know what? This is just like, ugh. And that's another reason I also want to get into Naruto, but it's just too long.
Dude, you're gonna be in Naruto forever, man.
I haven't found myself dedicating it to it.
Like old school Naruto, really great. Like I was watching that like when it was airing. Like I do not recommend this now, but back when it was airing in Japan and we weren't getting it, and so you had to use not reputable sites. Don't recommend that now. The world has changed since 2006.
All 900 filler episodes aren't on Netflix.
Yes, they are. Yeah, like with Bleach, it's like, man, you got like 3 good seasons of Bleach and like 17 seasons of filler with that show. Good show, but still. And that's the kind of like the thing with anime. Like anime is great. But I've kind of like moved away from like the tournament anime, like that shonen anime. I'm like, I just want to have like slice of life like anime now. Like I'm all into that. Like I've gone through my DBZs, I've gone through my Narutos, I've gone through everybody that I liked dying in Gurren Lagann. Like you know what I mean? It's like I've gone through like all of these things. Now I'm just kind of like, I'm older now. I just want my characters to live a happy life, man.
Yeah, I'm just playing I'm just playing anime inspired video games now. The Ninja Storm series kind of got me hooked for like a hot minute. my it's actually funny because my favorite like quote unquote slice of life was No Game No Life, which I really got mad that kind of it he
Yeah,
it's controversial, but it was such a good series just because of like the fact that it was supposed to be like really hilarious and they nailed all of like the comedic scenes. But I really enjoyed it because it was just like it was chill, and I'm a gamer, so I really related to it.
Well, no, yeah,
But,
we already talked. You're Gawr Gura. Like we all know. It's okay. We all know you're the little shark girl. It's okay, man.
Bro, imagine. And I've been getting into my voiceovers lately for sure. I've just been doing hilarious stuff with it. It's fun.
So what is one thing that you want to go in and do? So like where do you want to go from here? So you've done like Camp Cretaceous and stuff. Like, do you want to do an anime? Like, is that one thing that you would love to voice? Do you want to do more like on camera stuff?
I want to do an anime so bad. Mainly, I think what really inspired it was not only just doing one time I did this workshop with a dubbing director, and I dubbed a little bit to Beyblade Burst, and I was like, oh man, this is fun. But then I dubbed a little bit on this show that's out on Disney Plus called Parallels, and that was originally French. That was super fun too. I look nothing like the guy, but it was super fun. But now I just really want to do some anime, and it's also inspired me to learn Japanese because I don't want to do just dubbing. I also want to do some stuff in subs and stuff, mainly just because I always get super jealous when I fall in love with something, and then I'm like, I wish I was there to do it myself and to contribute in some way. But yeah, I think the one thing that I want to get into the most is dubbing, and DreamWorks has been doing a lot of that. So I kind of have an in with them a little bit. I'm gonna try. A little bit, small. Oh yeah, just a tad. But yeah, dubbing or subbing, I'd have to learn Japanese. But yeah, just anime in general, I really want to get into it because it's a cool franchise and it's blowing up. So
definitely. Now it's all mainstream. Like back in my day, anime was for the it's like
back in the 90s.
Oh yeah, back in the 90s, like when we was watching the animes and it was only on Toonami. Like back when it was like, oh yeah, you had to get home because Toonami started at 2:00. So that's
exactly,
bro. This is how bad it was. I learned how to like set a VCR to record because I didn't get home until like 3:30. So it's like,
you ever figure out how to change it from the 12:00 thing that flash?
Oh yeah, man, that's easy. Like once you actually figure that out, it's like, oh yeah, I know how to do this. This is easy peasy. But yeah, it's like you gotta learn. I think that should be
cut this wire,
a test for everybody.
Weld it up a little bit, and yeah, you got
it. So Paul, where can people find you social media wise?
Oh yeah.
Like if they want to maybe see you get cool pics of you getting a haircut.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're doing.
Dude, I'm just saying, dude. But I mean, it was fresh, man. I was like, I'm sorry. As the kids would say, it was like, I was. I can't do that. I'm too old, man. I can't sheesh it.
I'm already over it. I'm one of those people that doesn't pay attention to like social media that much, so like I'm not, but I have been doing this. I always say bussin' to like unironically to like make my friends cringe because it's hilarious. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Paul-Mikel3. That's PMIKEY the number 3. Not really on Facebook, but my Facebook is just my name at Paul-Mikel Williams. Not really on Twitter either, but my Twitter is also my name, just Paul-Mikel, or at Paul-Mikel3. Yeah, that's it. Not on any other websites. It would probably be extremely suspicious if I was, but yeah.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh L. Kane. You can find the podcast on the Instagram at What's Up Fandom, on Twitter, What's Up Fandom PC for podcasts. All of our episodes available wherever you can find, podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Google Play, Spotify, Audible. our website, animationstationpodcast.com. You can check our video content up on YouTube, and check out Jurassic World, Camp Cretaceous. All 5 seasons available now on Netflix. Again, thanks so much, DreamWorks. Also, you can catch Paul on, let's see. I'm also going to link his Gawr Gura account, so that way you can check out about him there. You know, watch all the cool streams that he does.
Just plugging in that advertising for
it'll be great. I mean, yeah, like HoloLive Paul, it'll be there soon. We'll make that happen. It'll be awesome. But yeah, so Paul,
I'm gonna
thanks
look
again
like
so much
Nutaku in a minute. I'm gonna make a little Nutaku.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, like there's part of me that's like, man, it'd be so cool to be like one of those VTubers. Like
it would be fun. It would be fun. I've thought about it.
I'm bad.
Doesn't mean I'm
bad
gonna
at
do
games,
it, but
though. I'm bad at games though. Like I can't do it. That's the thing. I'm like, the fact that people can play games at least relatively well. I'm like, I would rather watch somebody play a game. Like I'm just so bad at games. I just can't do it. But Paul, again, thank you so much for coming on.
Of course, yeah. I mean, bro, I always love doing podcasts, like for sure. I've been getting into Spotify podcasts a lot recently too. I've just been scrolling, man. So yeah, I'm excited to listen to this when it comes out.
Awesome. And yeah, you're invited whenever Attack on Titan finally ends. So we'll see you back here in 2035 when that show finally is over, and we can talk about it.
Yeah, I'm a you know, when I finally get my driver's license, I'm just gonna, you know, take a road trip to Oklahoma.
Don't do it, dude. Don't do it. There's a reason that we're a flyover state. Just don't stop here. You just fly right over it, and you just keep going, man. You go to either coast. You do not stop.
Hey, as long as you don't see those diamonds in the sky, I think it'll be fine.
All right. So for What's Up Fandom, I'm Josh.
All right, I'm Paul-Mikel Williams.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.
I'm not the leading authority on action, poetic or using big words. But this right here is my philosophy about living in such a world, yeah. You and I got a life to live, so what's the point?